guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I decided to do a eye makeup look with a makeup palette that is really affordable, so kind of on the other end of the scale of, you know, sort of MAC and all those kind of brands. I got it from Superdrug and it was only £4, and it's basically pretty much an exact copy of the Urban Decay Naked palette, and it's by a brand called Revlution. And I must say, like, for the price, their makeup is actually really good, and especially the eyeshadow palettes. They're only £4 each, and I'll show you. It basically looks like this. You can't see because of the reflection of my light, but it's basically an exact copy of the Naked palette, the first one. And the colours and the quality are just so good, so I thought that I would do something a bit more affordable. So the whole of the eye makeup look that I've done today is using products that you can buy in, well, I got all of the products I use for my eyes from Superdrug. If you're not looking to obviously go and spend loads of money on makeup, you can still get a really nice, you know, eye makeup look using something that's a lot cheaper. So if you want to see how I got this eye makeup look, just keep watching. For my foundation, I'm using the MAC Studio Fix Fluid, and my shade is in NC30. And to apply that, I'm using the Real Techniques stippling brush. I would normally use my beauty blender to apply my foundation, but I've recently gone back to this brush and I've been absolutely loving it. It applies liquid foundation really well, it has such a flawless finish, and I also feel like it gets the job done a lot quicker, which is always a bonus. So next I'm taking the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. Again, that's in the shade NC30, although for some reason the concealer does come out lighter than the foundation. I'm just using that with a damp beauty blender sponge, and I'm just applying that to areas of my face where I have blemishes and things that the foundation doesn't cover completely. So to conceal under my eyes, again still using the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, but this time it's in a lighter shade. I use NC20 and just applying that in a triangle shape, so down the side of my nose, and then taking that up to just past the outer corner of my eye, and again using the damp beauty blender. And then I also apply a bit to my eyelids as well, just to even out all the colour basically. I'm using now the Loreal True Match Concealer, so just applying that in a smaller triangle under my eyes, just to highlight it a bit more, because personally I do get quite bad dark circles under my eyes and I want that to be the most highlighted part of my face. So I'm just adding a little bit more concealer. The shade I'm using is in Ivory Beige. To set the concealer under my eyes, I use the Rimmel Stay Matte Pressed Powder in the shade Peach Glow, which is number 3. I've recently just started using my other beauty blender, slightly damp, and basically pressing the powder under my eyes and on my eyelids with the beauty blender, and I find that it works so much better, because for ages I had the problem of no matter what concealer or powder or brush I used, it would always end up creasing under my eyes and looking terrible. But I've just tried using the beauty blender and it works so much better. It doesn't crease and it lasts really well as well. So that's my recommendation to anyone who's having the same problem as me. To set the rest of my makeup, I use the MAC Blot Powder, and that's in the colour Medium Dark. I've been using this for a couple of years now, literally on a daily basis, and it's the best powder that I've found. And I use the Real Techniques Duo Fibre Face Brush, and I like to use this brush basically because it applies more of a thin, natural looking layer, because I find that sometimes if you're using a different brush, the powder can look a bit cakey on your skin. So with that same powder brush, I'm now just using a MAC Mineralize Skinfinish in the shade Give Me Sun, and just to bronze up the face a bit really. I'm just using that on around my hairline, the cheekbones and the jawline. I bought this powder recently and I've been using it pretty much every day. It has a really lovely silky smooth look to it, and it's also matte, which is good because you don't want a shimmery bronzer when you're going to be applying that all over your face. To fill in my eyebrows, I use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dipbrow Pomade, and the colour I use is dark brown, and I use that with the Anastasia Beverly Hills eyebrow brush as well. I've been using this for about 4 months and it's the best thing I've found for filling in my eyebrows. Previous to that, I used the Rimmel eyebrow pencil and I'd used that for years and I did love it until I found this, and this is now my new favourite that I use on a daily basis. So I'm just taking a bit more of the MAC Pro Longwear concealer and a concealer brush just to basically trace the outline of my eyebrows and tidy up any of the edges that aren't looking so neat, and this just gives a sharper effect to the eyebrows. And I'm then just going back with a bit more of the MAC Blot powder to set the concealer. Okay, so now it's onto the eyes, so this is the fun bit. With this palette, as far as I can tell, they don't actually have names of the shades. So first of all, I'm using the second colour on the palette and just applying that to the inner kind of 2/3 of my eye, so leaving the outer corner blank, and just applying that with a MAC, what brush is it? It is the MAC 242 brush. So just patting that colour on just to make sure the colour looks nice and vibrant. So with the same brush, I'm just using the other side. I'm taking the third colour in from the right and just applying that on the outer third of my eye, and just bringing that up to the crease and then just stopping it there. So for the crease, I'm using the fourth colour in from the right, and the brush I'm using for that is the MAC 239. So I'm just kind of sweeping that across slightly above the crease in kind of a circular motion and twisting my brush round to follow the natural shape of the crease as I go, and just blending that up slightly towards the brow bone. So for the brow bone, I'm using the first colour on the palette and taking that on a MAC 217 brush. So just sweeping that underneath the eyebrow and then blending that into the crease colour. For my eyeliner, I'm using the Rimmel Glam Eyes Professional Liquid Liner in the colour Black Glamour, and again this is an old favourite that I've been using for years and I love it, and I've tried loads of other liquid eyeliners but I haven't found one that I like as much, so I've just stuck to this one. So next I'm going to curl my lashes and apply one coat of mascara. The mascara I'm using today is the Bourjois Volume Glamour Ultra Curl, and that's just in the colour Black. I'm then just going back in with the fourth colour in from the right, the one that I used on the crease, under the lash line, so taking that all the way across basically and just blending it out. And then I'm taking the third colour in from the right, the one that I used on the outer corner of my eye, and just placing that again on the outer corner but under the lash. For eyelashes, I'm using the Eyelure Volume eyelashes in number 100. I'm actually not going to use the full strip. What I've actually done here is cut one eyelash into two and then applied each half to the outer corner of my eye, because sometimes I don't like to wear a whole strip because I find that sometimes it can irritate my eyes. For blusher, I'm using, it's actually also a Makeup Revolution Ultra Blush palette. This one is called Sugar and Spice, and I'm using the third colour in from the left and just applying that to the apples of my cheeks and then kind of blending it upwards to work it in with the bronzer that I'd already applied. And lastly, to finish off, I'm using a MAC lipstick. It's a matte finish and in the colour Mehr. I bought this recently. It's a lovely kind of dusky pinky brown shade. It looks really lovely on, and it's definitely wearable for night or day, which is great. And that's a completed look. A soft glam date night makeup, definitely wearable obviously for the evening, and I would even wear it in the day, probably on the weekend if I was going to be going out somewhere. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, I would love it if you could give it a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel. If there's any requests of a video you'd like to see me do, then just let me know in the comments. Thanks guys.